Please be seated. Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Jill Heitzman, and I'm the Program Director for the Physical Therapy Program here at Maryville University. On behalf of the faculty and staff of the Physical Therapy Program, I welcome the family and friends, the graduating class of 2022, and our esteemed guests to this ceremony. I would like to recognize our esteemed guests at this time, the faculty from other programs within the Maryville University College of Health Sciences, the deans, directors of these programs, our faculty and our adjunct faculty who are here from the Physical Therapy Program, and our distinguished guest. We are honored with our honored speaker, the President of the American Physical Therapy Association, Roger Herr, Dean Emeritus of the Walker College of Health Professions, Dr. Charles Goulis, the Dean of the Walker College of Health Professions, Dr. Michelle Jenkins, and the Vice President of Academic Affairs, Dr. Jennifer Yukna. At this time, I am proud to announce that the 12th convocation and commencement of the Doctor of Physical Therapy here at Maryville University is now in session. I have the privilege and honor to introduce our keynote speaker this afternoon, Roger Herr, who is our current American Physical Therapy Association president. I have known Roger for over 25 years, and I'm always amazed to find out how much time he has to do all of the things he does and all the activities he's involved with. Roger is known to be involved in his running club, running marathons in Manhattan. He has been appearing on many morning TV shows during Physical Therapy Month. He even guides balloons during the Macy's Day Parade in New York City. And he crisscrosses the country to attend many different events, speak at different state and national activities of our American Physical Therapy Association. Roger does live the PT philosophy that movement is life. Roger graduated with his physical therapy degree from Temple University and went on to complete the master's degree in public administration and healthcare management from New York University. Since becoming a physical therapist, Roger has spent much of his clinical practice time in home health and has been a guest lecturer and instructor over various universities around the country and various state chapters. Currently, along with his role in the APTA, he is Vice President for the Visiting Nurses Services of New York. Roger's professional interest in leadership and advancing the profession began when he was a PT student at Temple. Yes, he joined the APTA at that time and became involved with student government, but he also became a student member of the American College of Healthcare Executives. Since graduation, he has held many elected and appointed positions within the states of Washington, New York, and the APTA Home Health Academy. He is a strong advocate for the profession of physical therapy, and he has served as a delegate to the APTA House of Delegates for the states of Washington and New York, as well as the APTA Home Health Academy. He has testified before Congress on many issues advocating for PT services and to streamline some of the provisions of physical therapy in order to improve the outreach to those underserved. Roger has received many awards, including the Professional Student Award while at Temple, the Visiting Nurses Awards of the Hero Award and the Above and Beyond the Call of Duty, the PT of the Year Award from the State of Washington's Physical Therapy Chapter, the Dr. Marilyn Moffitt Distinguished Service Award from the New York State Chapter, and the APTA's Lucy Blair Service Award. Roger was honored on his very first day as president of APTA to be able to ride in the first ever APTA float in the Rose Bowl Parade this past January. Maryville graduates and the class of 2022 and our esteemed guests, I am pleased to present to you today our keynote speaker, President of the APTA, Roger Herr.
Wow, I am honored to be here I am so impressed with the profession of physical therapy has offered me, but more importantly, what it offers you in the next generation. This graduation is a milestone in what you've achieved in this degree at this program. But I also want to recognize, and today, I want to share some of the insights and maybe some tips or suggestions from my experience. Some of you may know that personally I'm an introvert. I like to sit and talk to one or two people. This is not my comfort zone to address an audience of this or larger sizes. So just know that your career and your skills can evolve over time. And that's what's amazing about physical therapy. So I want to first celebrate you completing the program, you, the graduates, but I also want you to acknowledge the communities that have supported you in order for you to enter this program, and also your peers in the community, in the Maryville community, that have helped you complete the degree. Both of those communities are very important, and as will the future communities you work in your work community and others that I'll be talking about today. You need to celebrate these communities as we each have our own journey. And I also would like to just say, while I was born in New York, my personal community is that I grew up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. While being born in New York, I was raised in a farming community because my parents were veterinarians. And both of my parents, my mom and dad, were both veterinarians, which at the time was unusual for both a male and a female to be a veterinarian, because it really was a male-dominated profession. But my parents were both equal in practice, but they managed their practice. They also managed a family. They built a home, and they served in their community in many different ways. But what they also did in their retirement was very admirable. They got into antiques, my father got into daylilies, and they found different communities to be engaged in both their passions, but also the people that share those passions. So I encourage you to celebrate and acknowledge the different communities that will serve you over your lifetime in your career. So at graduation, many people have a clear direction of what they want to do. I did not. I knew I needed more education. Coming out with a bachelor's, I knew I needed more. As the profession was going towards a master's degree, I knew I needed some more information, but I didn't have a clear path of what I wanted to practice or do. So I chose a large medical center, and for me, that offered me a variety of rotations, but offered me continuing education within that medical center that also had a university. And during that time, and 2 years later, I recognized the opportunity to really focus on geriatrics and work with one of my mentors in a nursing home. So she and I went to manage that nursing home facility and the 500 people that lived there, but also the 30 or 40 that were on acute rehab. It taught me how to manage a population, which was something different than when I was in school. I learned skills how to treat individuals. Now I was applying those skills to manage a population. And that changed my view of what we can do as physical therapists. The one-on-one care is foundational, and the skills and the clinical sciences we've established in our profession and the research we've done on practice is very strong. But our impact on communities and people's lifestyles is also something that's important as we progress our profession. So what I've learned in my career is that community is important. I started with that in the beginning of this, and I also realized that while many of us prefer supportive and nurturing communities, sometimes those communities are sometimes the adverse part of those communities is what move us to action. An example of that is sometimes my worst bosses were the best teachers of what I wanted to do or not do and how I wanted to be different and make healthcare different. So realize your community can be supportive, but it can also ignite change in you to speak up and do something different. Secondly is to not take your communities for granted. I've learned with my APTA service that I only get to see my board colleagues 3 times a year in person. The rest of the time it is phone calls. And that community is very important to me, but I can't take it for granted. Same thing when you move or you change in your life, your communities will change. When I changed from the hospital to the nursing home, I went from a peer of 60 to the 2 of us. So that's where I got involved with APTA because that was my professional community. And I realized that my work is not going to meet all my needs. My profession is going to meet some of my needs, but also my social community, my family, and those needs, and how they supported me throughout my career. So while things change, embrace the new communities you have the opportunity to meet and engage in. Do not pine for the past. Build your career based on that past, but also seek and embrace new communities as you get a chance to find something new to participate in. I was at a critical point in my life where my job was not my forte. I was not having a good time in my job, and my personal life was also going through a lot of changes. And so I called one of my mentors, and I remember this call as I sat outside the place where I was living, and she said, "Don't run away from something, find something to run to." And I took that, and I found that it was, at that time, really good for me to return back to New York City, but work in a health plan as compared to working on the provider side. And by working on a health plan, I designed benefits and made it administratively easier to access care and to get authorization to provide care as a practitioner. So it changed how I viewed and what my role was by influencing the healthcare system by working for the payer end. That's how my career evolved, but it built on my basic skills as a physical therapist. Understanding healthcare, number one. Number two is my interdisciplinary collaboration. And number three are my critical thinking skills. Applying that to patients and one-on-one care is essential. Applying that to the nursing home population built my career. And then also working in a health plan and serving a larger community and keeping people healthy was how I applied those skills in many different ways. So I share that because I never expected to move out of practice and become an administrator or a leader for the profession and being elected to the APTA president. But a simple concept that challenges all of us at any level is the concept of patient first. And I mention that because I take that for granted, but it took a mentor of mine to remind me to always use patient first and not when I need to quickly say or screen an eval or screen a case, not just look at what procedure or what diagnosis they had, but to understand the person behind that, understand the caregivers and the community behind that. And that's the beauty of home health. I get to walk into that world. But in many clinical settings, the patient walks into your world, and you're often stripped and don't see the identity of the person and the community that they live and want to return to. So I challenge us is that when you're reviewing and sharing information, to really think about the person that you're treating and the family and caregivers involved. I first realized, as I said earlier, I was an introvert. I was first challenged on the patient first concept when I had to call a physician for the first time. I was very intimidated until I realized during that call that while I felt subservient in making the call, as soon as we engaged in a conversation, it became collaborative. And that's where I realized about centering about the patient versus the role and the treatment. It was about what does this person need and how do we meet those goals. Another time, as mentioned earlier, is I was advocating giving testimony to Medicare at the offices for Medicare, which happened to be in Baltimore. This is the first time I was there. Again, very intimidating environment, first time being there. So I was really reticent to stand up and speak. But at the end of the day, when they were closing that meeting and summarizing the comments, they said that there was one person that spoke to person first, patient-centered care, and that was the physical therapist spoke about how it impacted patient care, not how it impacted the business or the company that was providing the care. So that patient-centered voice made it resonate with the insurance and Medicare and payers, and it was a rallying call for me to keep that as a foundation of my work. And I know you've been taught that for those of you that are graduates, but it's so important for us to respect that in all parts of our work. So now for some of my tips. First is, you do not go this alone going forward. You have a profession, you have an association, you've got your peers in your class, you've got your faculty, you've got all your friends and family in your lives. You've got amazing community to carry you forward. Number two is, know who you are. I took for granted for who I was and what I am. On the surface, I'm a white male, I'm in my late 50s, I'm cisgender, and I'm gay. Some of those attributes are self-evident, maybe others are not. But some of you may have commonalities with some of my attributes, and some of you might be asking, why does it matter or why do I care? I share this because I need to know who I am. It's also important for you to know yourself. When I first moved to New York City, I was a student, a new graduate, and I was determined to figure out what it was like to live in a new city. My life and my professional communities changed when I took my first job, when I entered school, where I lived, becoming involved in my homeowners or association. It really taught me how to be involved in different ways as a citizen. Those have made me stronger and wiser, each of those communities I've had a chance to live in. Number 3 is recognizing your values. Our values are self-evident to others, but sometimes we don't realize them till we compare ourselves to others and see their values are different. How their family works is different because of their values and what they grew up with. What's important about your values is it's easy to see them in others, as I mentioned, but they are very important to understand your internal biases. In the health plan that I worked at, 10% of our staff were people in wheelchairs. People chose our health plan because people look like them. And do not underestimate the patient experience and how people want people that look like them to treat them. And not all of us can look like each other, but to understand that that's an important part for some people. Naturally, we as people have affinities that look for people that are like us, whether they're people that grew up in the same town, the same state, went to the same schools. We have those affinities. Yet, in our culture, we're striving for diversity. So our natural affinities are very challenging when we're trying to be diverse at the same time. And trying to be all things to all people is not always easy and not always possible. But recognizing our biases, our affinities, and the ways that they affect our practice and our work are important. We often see those in others before we see them in ourselves. So that can be a challenge. I find my compass is through the feedback of others and the people I work with. And they give me my community is very able to give me direct, honest feedback and willing to challenge my assumptions and biases and my values. What matters most will drive how your values affect how you engage yourself and others. For me, fairness is a trigger. When I see things that aren't fair, it makes me speak up and figure, how do I make a difference here? Going back to my parents, they taught me when 2 dogs are fighting, you do not get involved. You find a catalyst. Find water, find noise, find something else to distract, but don't get in the middle of a dog fight. However, a dog fight's not right, so you need to figure out what are the ways to intervene. So I just share that sometimes your values engage you to connect and involved in things, but sometimes being directly involved may not be the best approach. Sometimes using different strategies, different ways of working, different people, different approaches, different groups are often the way to solve change and address the issue at hand. So when you're in a time of change, as of now, look to your communities. It may be your work community, it may be your professional family community, it might be your religious community, it might be where you work, where you grew up. All these people are important to support you as you go through life. Clinically, we're challenged in practice more and more as the world of payments changing and people are expecting better health care and spending less on health care at the same time. So we're constantly challenged to be more effective and efficient in our care. What that means is we constantly need to challenge our assumptions, and is that the best way to practice? It's what we learn now, but is it effective and appropriate for the next 5 years? Or the next decade. And things will change, and that lifelong learning is so essential to figure out what's most important in providing care going ahead. And we have multiple issues in our profession, but for me, APTA has been that touchstone. When I didn't know where to go, it provided that professional resource, whether it was on practice, payment, education, research. There's many different parts of our profession, and while I focused on one, I relied on experts in the other areas of our profession to help guide me when I needed information, evidence, or resources. What I understand from your program is your first year was spent pretty much remote, or the first part of your year with the COVID-19. Things like that changed all of our lives and all of our world, and I can't imagine what it was like for a student going through a new program at that point in time. What I do know in my world, it made us stop all the 18 things we were working on and focus on 2 things. How do we keep our staff safe, and how do we keep our patients safe? And by focusing on that, we were able to implement telehealth and other ways to support people at a time that was risky and not knowing how many people would be available and able to care for people. It allowed us to make changes by focusing on what mattered most at that point in time. Sometimes at this point, 2 years later, I wish that we would focus on what matters most, because we're going back to trying to do everything for everyone, and some days that's frustrating because you don't move the one thing that matters most. So I challenge us to how do we prioritize our lives, our practice, yet make a difference and try to satisfy all the needs that we're trying to do in our lives. So during COVID, one of the things that I posted on my bathroom mirror is, look, I've tried to, how am I going to get through this pandemic? So I put a little post-it there, and it's still there to this day, and it says, I'll never know what is possible unless I try. Because I didn't know what the next day, week, month, or year would look like, and that kept me going forward. It also happened to be a time that I was running for APTA president, and again, I never would know unless I tried. And so here I am. What I also realized during that time, that not every day is good, but there is something good in every day. And that's, while I personally prepare for the worst in a situation, I hope for the best. That way I feel I have a backup plan, but I strive to be the best or have the best outcome. But at the same point, I learn from those adversities, I learn from those mistakes, and being willing to share them makes me more humble in front of my peers and my colleagues at work. That not always some of us are willing to share our challenges and how we've dealt with that. So what I know about physical therapists. From my experience, for those of you entering the profession, for the community around you now, what I know is that we're a very committed, passionate group of people. We are founded by women. We are over 100 years old in this country. Our traditional in-person care is the foundation, but it doesn't serve all of the people in this community, in our country. So we need to figure out how we support people with our in-person care, but what are the resources to support people before and after the in-person care? In-person care is important, but it's not what everyone needs for all their needs. So we need to look at that going forward. We are movement experts, we are evidence-based, and we are founded within the medical model. That is great, but as we serve society, people are challenging us on how do we work in the health, wellness, promotion, and fitness models. We are dependable, reliable, and trusted people. What's interesting is we're not seen as groundbreaking. We're seen as trusted, but people don't come to us for advice. They listen to us when we say something. We've seen this in practice. We've seen this in our public advocacy. We have a culture of building on our success, building on our successors, and applying what we know to different places in time. However, in order to change, we need to be risk takers. And at most, I'd say physical therapists at most have sharp elbows, but we are a very kind culture, and therefore we're very often lacking to be risk takers. So for those of you that are in this class, I applaud you, but realize sometimes that goes against our general culture, but don't stop being you. That's something we need in our profession. As I said, we want to build upon our past and adapt to the future. You need to know yourself, know your values, and rely on your communities to support you. You each go and grow and experience different parts of the profession, and that's what's amazing. I shared some of my experiences, not that I'm the role model, but that I am one of many different paths you can take in this profession. Personally, I've always benefited in many of the different roles. Practice and leadership were my primary areas, but I needed to continue my lifelong learning in pharmacology and other imaging and other areas that came into practice that weren't there when I entered it, as will you in whatever else influences or supports you in practice going forward. So in closing, I am in awe of what you can do, will do, and where you will take our profession. I encourage you to know yourself, know your values, and find your people or communities. 3 is change is never perfect. But don't let perfection get in the way of good enough. Not everything we do is a research study or going to be published in a journal, but applying that in practice is important, and doing it appropriately and efficaciously is also what we need to use in as you've learned in school. And lastly, Find the good. Not every day is good, but there is something good in every day. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those encouraging words for our new grads as they go out finding their own way in our profession. Roger, we have a few gifts for you, and thanks for you coming to share your time last night and today with us as you share your energy and passion for physical therapy. I also have the honor this year to present the Helen Mae Bradley Achievement Award. This award is given in memory of Helen Mae Bradley. It recognizes an individual's outstanding achievement to physical therapy in the areas of expert clinician, professional, reflective practitioner, and educator. Helen Mae Bradley is the first physical therapist from the state of Missouri. During World War I, she was a Reconstruction aide, which is the founding organization, the founding group of people who started our physical therapy profession. During this 101-year celebration of APTA, the physical therapy faculty have chosen another trailblazer for our profession. Bill Hopfinger, would you please join us on stage? Bill Hopfinger has moved physical therapy services practice forward by impacting the manner in which physical therapists practiced in the state of Missouri and by leaving a legacy through mentoring and educating future clinicians and teachers. But perhaps his foremost accomplishment is that he is a pioneer in sports medicine in St. Louis. I met Bill when we were in physical therapy school at St. Louis U, yes, all those years ago, and at that time, as a physical therapy student, he was an assistant trainer to the old St. Louis St. Louis Stars pro soccer team. When the head trainer took leave as a result of an illness, Bill, at the age of 21, became the head trainer for the Stars. This led to him doing a lot of things in sports medicine, including being the head trainer for the St. Louis University, and then later for the St. Louis Steamers Soccer Club. Since graduating from St. Louis U, and I'm not going to say the year because they don't know how old I am too, he has worked as a guest lecturer for Maryville University and almost every PTA program in the state of the Missouri region. Over his 20 years of working, he's been the chair of the Missouri Physical Therapy Association Government Affairs Committee. He has had the current role as the chair of the Missouri Physical Therapy Advocacy Commission to the Board of Healing Arts. Yes, that board that you get your license from. It underscores the importance that he has played in advocating for our profession. Currently, he is president of St. Louis Home Health, which is a Medicare-certified orthopedic-only home health agency. And he volunteers a lot to give back to the community. He really confirms the true meaning of giving back to society. Some of his many volunteer positions include being chair of the board of directors for the Cardinal Ritter Senior Services, a member of St. Anthony's Medical Center Charitable Foundation, and many, many other hours in a lot of variety of areas of sports, including being involved in the 2004 U.S. Olympic Soccer Festival. Bill has received numerous awards for his contributions to the profession, including the Missouri PT Association Award for Outstanding Service to the PT profession and the St. Louis University Alumni Award. Currently, though, he can be found having a Budweiser with his wife, Mary, while they enjoy their grandchildren, and a few of the Cardinals and Blues games as well. But this trailblazer has truly changed our practice for physical therapy, not only in the state of Missouri, but for all of those around the country who have owned or practiced in physical therapy, owned private practices, and in the field of sports therapy. I am very honored to present the Helen Mae Bradley Award to my classmate, Bill Hopfinger.
Jill, I want to thank you and the entire faculty for this award, and my wife, Mary, of 43 years, for putting up with me and basically single-handedly raising our 3 daughters while I was kind of running around doing some of this stuff Jill just talked about. Thanks.
And now the moment we've all been waiting for. Dean Jenkins will now present the graduates of the class of 2022.
Vice President Yukna, on behalf of the physical therapy faculty, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the candidates of the Doctor of Physical Therapy class of 2022 who have completed the coursework in the Myrtle E. and Earl E. Walker College of Health Professions at Maryville University. Each of the candidates has shown a tremendous amount of hard work, dedication, and growth that has enabled them to be here today. We want to congratulate each of them and celebrate with all of you this outstanding achievement. Dr. Olaide Alawale Sangosini and Dr. Ann Fick will be hooding our students. As I call your name, please approach the stage. Dr. Marie Claire Barr. Dr. Barr is from Jacksonville, Illinois. She has participated in the Maryville Women's Club volleyball team and has also appeared on the Dean's List. Dr. Kelly Lynn Barnes. Dr. Barnes is from Imperial, Missouri. Dr. Barnes has developed a strong interest in an orthopedic residency. While at Maryville, Dr. Barnes was a member of the Maryville's track and field team for 3 years. Dr. Barnes also had an article published in the APTA Academy of Acute Care Critical Edge newsletter. She has accepted a position with Access Physical Therapy and will be working in an outpatient orthopedic setting. Dr. Alex Burtman. Dr. Burtman is from Jerseyville, Illinois. He would like to work in an inpatient rehabilitation setting. Dr. Burtman has served on the APTA Academy of Geriatrics Student Task Force, working to increase student and new professional involvement in the National Association. Dr. Emily Bloomfelder. Dr. Bloomfelder is from Union, Missouri. In her time at Maryville, Dr. Bloomfelder held the position of Physical Therapy PALS co-chair for the Physical Therapy Club. Dr. Bloomfelder was also a member of Alpha Delta Lambda, Omicron Delta Kappa, Delta Epsilon Sigma, and Psi Chi Honor Societies. She has accepted a position with SSM Health Physical Therapy at the Pacific location. Dr. Lane Brown. Dr. Brown is from Marshall, Illinois. Dr. Brown has developed a strong interest in a sports or orthopedic residency. While at Maryville, Dr. Brown was a member of Maryville's Quidditch team. Dr. Brown was also a member of Alpha Delta Lambda, Delta Epsilon Sigma, and Alpha Eta Honor Societies. Dr. Kayla Durstein. Dr. Durstein is from Jerseyville, Illinois. Dr. Durstein hopes to work in a pediatric setting in either inpatient or outpatient settings. In her time at Maryville, Dr. Durstein participated in the Physical Therapy Club and was accepted to present her research at CSM and MPTA. Dr. Ashley Noel Dowden. Dr. Dowden is from Jefferson City, Missouri. She would like to work in an inpatient setting. While at Maryville, Dr. Dowden was a member of Maryville's varsity tennis team and was team captain in 2021. Dr. Dowden was also a member of Alpha Lambda Delta, Alpha Eta, and Psi Chi Honor Societies. She was accepted to present her research at CSM and MPTA. Dr. Kelsey Dowling. Dr. Dowling is from Memphis, Tennessee. Dr. Dowling would like to work in a geriatric or workers' compensation setting. Dr. Dowling's achievements include her peer-reviewed poster for research, which was accepted for MPTA and CSM conferences. Dr. Reagan Feldot. Dr. Feldot is from Muscuda, Illinois. In her time at Maryville, Dr. Feldot was a member of Maryville's inaugural and second-year stunt team. Dr. Feldot was also a member of the Physical Therapy Club and had MPTA accepted research. She has accepted a position at Missouri Baptist Outpatient Clinic. Dr. Carson Fonner. Dr. Fonner is from Effingham, Illinois. Dr. Fonner would like to work in an outpatient orthopedic setting and is considering applying for an orthopedic clinical residency program. While at Maryville, Dr. Fonner was a member of Maryville's inaugural stunt team and the Physical Therapy Club. Dr. Fonner studied abroad in Oxford, England, and had CSM and MPTA accepted research. Dr. Hannah Jo Forbes. Dr. Forbes is from St. Charles, Missouri. She would like to work in a pediatric or neurological clinical setting in the Kansas City area. Dr. Forbes' achievements while at Maryville include a minor in Spanish, being a Dean Scholar, completing the Inclusive MU Institute, and having her research accepted at both MPTA and CSM conferences. Dr. Forbes was a member of Best Buddies, Pep Band, Community Service Club, and the Physical Therapy Club. Dr. Forbes also started a women's Bible study group on campus. Dr. Jordan Grenert. Dr. Grenert is from Trenton, Illinois. His achievements while at Maryville include having his research poster presented at APTA of Missouri and published in the APTA Academy of Acute Care Critical Edge email newsletter. Dr. Grenert also received a certification in telehealth from the APTA. He has accepted a job at HSHS St. Joseph's Outpatient Clinic in Highland, Illinois. Dr. Sarah Holscher. Dr. Holscher is from Warrington, Missouri. Dr. Holscher would like to work in an outpatient setting with an interest in neurological or orthopedic cases. Dr. Nicole Maria Horvath. Dr. Horvath is from Oxford, Michigan. She would like to work in a neurological rehabilitation or outpatient orthopedic setting. In her time at Maryville, Dr. Horvath worked as a graduate assistant for gross anatomy and gained cultural perspective while studying abroad in India. Dr. Horvath also held the position of co-class representative during her 5th and 6th years. Dr. Macy Hoyer. Dr. Hoyer is from St. Louis, Missouri, and would like to work in a geriatric clinical setting upon graduation. Dr. Rachel Anita Jackson Webster. Dr. Jackson Webster is from St. Charles, Missouri, and would like to work in an inpatient rehabilitation setting in the St. Louis area. Throughout her time at Maryville, she was a member of Maryville's cross-country, track, and club soccer teams, served as co-president of the Physical Therapy Club and Delight Christian Club, a resident assistant founder, and was accepted to present her research at CSM and MPTA. Dr. Alyssa Kelly. Dr. Kelly is from Joliet, Illinois. In her time at Maryville, Dr. Kelly was a member of Maryville's softball team for 5 years, where she accumulated various accolades, including athletic and academic All-American status. Dr. Kelly also served as a leader in the Fellowship of Christian Athletes and Catholics on Campus groups, as well as the physical therapy class representative and peer tutor. She has accepted a position with SSM Health Rehabilitation Hospital in Bridgeton, Missouri. Dr. Kayla Kowal. Dr. Kowal is from Hanover Park, Illinois. She would like to work in an outpatient orthopedic clinical setting. In her time at Maryville, Dr. Kowal was a member of Maryville's women's soccer team for 4 years. Dr. Kowal has her certification as a strength and conditioning specialist. Dr. Aaron Lenahan. Dr. Lenahan is from Rolling Meadows, Illinois. Dr. Lenahan would like to work in an inpatient rehabilitation setting with a specific interest in neurology. Throughout her time at Maryville, Dr. Lenahan was a member of Maryville's women's basketball team for 6 years and was a tutor in neuroanatomy and physiology. Dr. Courtney Manning. Dr. Manning is from Bloomington, Illinois. During her time at Maryville, Dr. Manning was a member of Maryville's track and field team. Dr. Manning's interest in the field of sports physical therapy and has accepted a position in an outpatient clinic at Ivy Rehab in Bloomington, Illinois. Dr. Catherine Mason. Dr. Mason is from St. Louis, Missouri. Dr. Mason's achievements while at Maryville include directing 2 theater productions and a musical for middle and high school students. She served as treasurer of the Physical Therapy Club, and her research was accepted for presentation at the APTA CSM in February. Dr. Mason has accepted a position with Cora Physical Therapy at their Baldwin location. Dr. Abigail McPherson. Dr. McPherson is from Belleville, Illinois. In her time at Maryville, Dr. McPherson earned a master's degree in business administration, and her research was accepted for presentation at the APTA CSM conference in February. Dr. McPherson has accepted a position with Christian Hospital Northeast. Dr. Trent McPherson. Dr. McPherson is from Aviston, Illinois. Dr. McPherson has accepted a position as a physical therapist in the United States Army. Dr. McPherson's achievements while at Maryville include completion of the Army ROTC program and receiving his commission as an officer in the U.S. Army. Dr. Samantha Merlo. Dr. Merlo is from Fenton, Missouri. Dr. Merlo would like to work in an orthopedic or neurological outpatient setting. Dr. Merlo was also a member of Maryville's Physical Therapy Club, Alpha Lambda Delta, and Alpha Eta Honor Societies. She also earned the Cora Physical Therapy's Exceptional Student Award during her first clinical rotation. Dr. Brittany Nicole Milton. Dr. Milton is from Edwardsville, Illinois. In her time at Maryville, Dr. Milton was a member of Alpha Lambda Delta and Delta Epsilon Sigma Honor Societies. Dr. Milton has accepted an inpatient therapy position at St. Luke's Hospital. Dr. Catherine Picaro. Dr. Picaro is from Petersburg, Illinois. Her achievements while at Maryville include a nomination for APTA Missouri Student of the Year, APTA certification in telehealth, and having her research published in the Critical Edge email newsletter. Dr. Picaro served as a peer tutoring graduate assistant, Maryville University orientation coordinator, Physical Therapy Club evidence-based practice co-chair, National Physical Therapy Day of Service coordinator, and Bascom Honors Program graduate. Dr. Picaro is also a member of Alpha Eta, Delta Epsilon Sigma, and Alpha Lambda Delta Honor Societies. She has accepted a position in the Pediatrics Outpatient Clinic at Hillsborough Area Hospital. Dr. David Colin Prather. Dr. Prather is from Anna, Illinois. In his time at Maryville, Dr. Prather had MPTA-accepted research and participated in the Physical Therapy Club. Dr. Prather has accepted a job with the Orthopedic Institute of Southern Illinois. Dr. Maya Prince. Dr. Prince is from O'Fallon, Missouri. Dr. Prince would like to work in an outpatient orthopedic clinic upon graduation. Dr. Erin Reynolds. Dr. Reynolds is from Yorkville, Illinois. She would like to work in an outpatient or hospital-based position. In her time at Maryville, Dr. Reynolds was a member of Maryville's cross-country and track team and served as co-chair for the Student Advocacy Forum and volunteered with the group exercise class at Lutheran Senior Services. Dr. Cheyenne Robertson Boss. Dr. Robertson Boss is from Hannibal, Missouri. She has accepted a position at Cora Physical Therapy in Arnold, Missouri for outpatient orthopedic physical therapy. Dr. Anna Ross Steckman. Dr. Steckman is from Cahokia, Missouri. Dr. Ross Steckman has accepted a position at Scotland County Hospital. Dr. Joy Sandman. Dr. Sandman is from Canton, Illinois. In her time at Maryville, Dr. Sandman served as the primary investigator in graduate research presented at the MPTA conference, and her research was accepted for presentation at the CSM conference. Dr. Sandman received the Excellence in Interdisciplinary Studies Award for undergraduate research. Dr. Sandman was involved in the Physical Therapy Club, Inclusive MU Institute, PEP Band, and the Community Service Club, and was accepted as the APTA Academy of Acute Care Student Leadership Forum. Dr. Sandman has accepted a position at All for Kids Pediatric Therapy Clinic in Anchorage, Alaska. Dr. Lauren Page Smith. Dr. Smith is from Centralia, Illinois. In her time at Maryville, Dr. Smith was a member of the Physical Therapy Club. Dr. Smith has accepted a position at SSM Good Samaritan Hospital in Mount Vernon, Illinois. Dr. Nicole Upchurch. Dr. Upchurch is from St. Genevieve, Missouri. In her time at Maryville, Dr. Upchurch earned the Outstanding Freshman Award and served as a class representative for the Physical Therapy Club. Dr. Upchurch has accepted a position at St. Louis Children's Hospital in St. Louis. Dr. Olivia Renee Volmar. Dr. Volmar is from Washington, Missouri. She has accepted an outpatient position at Potential Therapy Services in Owensville, Missouri. Dr. Emily Welker. Dr. Welker is from Perryville, Missouri. In her time at Maryville, Dr. Welker served as a member of the Physical Therapy Club, Alpha Lambda Delta Honor Society, Best Buddies, and the Sign Language Club. Dr. Welker was also a volunteer for Gateway Trikes on Tykes, Maryville Reaches Out, Special Olympics, and the Multiple Sclerosis Bright Spots of Hope. Dr. Welker has accepted an outpatient position at Mid-America Rehab in Perryville, Missouri. Dr. Kate Williams. Dr. Williams is from Trenton, Illinois. Dr. Williams' achievements while at Maryville include maintaining a 4.0 GPA throughout graduate school, CSM and MPTA accepted research poster presentations, the MPTA Outstanding Student Award nominee, and served as a kinesiology tutor. Dr. Williams has accepted a position at Rankin Jordan Pediatric Bridge Hospital in St. Louis. Will all of the candidates of the Myrtle E. and Earl E. Walker College of Health Professions from the Doctor of Physical Therapy class of 2022 please rise and receive our recognition? I now have the pleasure to introduce Vice President of Academic Affairs, Dr. Jennifer Yukna, who will confer the degree.
As Maryville University's Chief Academic Officer, I am honored to confer your degree. Will all Doctor of Physical Therapy candidates please rise? By authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and upon the recommendation of the Maryville University faculty, I confer upon you the Doctor of Physical Therapy degree as you have completed and vest in all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining hereto. Congratulations. Please be seated.
Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Ann Fick. Today we're also proud to recognize our graduating residents. In geriatric physical therapy, Dr. Bethany Epperson, and in neurologic physical therapy, Dr. Martine Negrone. Dr. Negrone actually lives in California, and so he will not be able to make it today. Our program collaborates with the rehab department at Barnes-Jewish Hospital and with St. Louis, the VA Medical Center for the residency programs. The Barnes-Jewish Geriatric Clinical Residency is under the direction of Sarah Ahadri and Dr. Tracy Norris. The VA Neurologic Clinical Residency is under the direction of Mary Beth Curry and Dr. Catherine Helton. Resident physical therapists are actually licensed physical therapists who are now engaging in a focused mentor program with the goal of achieving advanced board certification. Dr. Jill Heitzman and Dr. Olaide Alawali Sangosini both are board-certified clinical specialists in geriatric physical therapy. Dr. Heitzman and Dr. Joni Berry, both board-certified clinical specialists in neurologic physical therapy, along with Dr. Conrad Dias and myself as board-certified clinical specialists in cardiovascular and pulmonary therapy, are all mentors for these programs. We assist in further developing the residents' teaching skills to educate the next generation of physical therapists. We help them expand their investigative research skills to translate this knowledge into clinical practice. Both residents participated in our Maryville Reaches Out Day, facilitating our student learning and engagement with older adults. We congratulate Dr. Negrone from afar on completing this rigorous program and for being the second resident to complete the VA's neurologic residency. Dr. Epperson, your special talent and expertise really shined when you helped with teaching and educating our students here about acute care equipment and also debriefing discussions in the simulation lab. Your role in teaching pharmacology to these graduates and our spectrum of care through the lifespan course was very engaging. So congratulations in being the second resident to complete the Barnes-Jewish Geriatric Residency Program. Dr. Epperson and Dr. Negrone, we wish you both the very best in your career as an up-and-coming leader of physical therapy. And we also wish you the very best as you continue to prepare for that particular exam as well. That's coming up. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rachel Rose, and I have the privilege today of announcing the graduates who are being inducted into Delta Phi Tau, along with Dr. Conrad Dias. The National Physical Therapy Student Honor Society, Delta Phi Tau, is an organization established in 2018 by the American Council of Academic Physical Therapy to recognize Doctor of Physical Therapy students who demonstrate excellence, integrity, and professionalism in areas of academic achievement, leadership, and service or research. Since the inaugural class in 2019, Maryville University has had 24 outstanding graduates inducted into this National Honor Society. This year, we are very proud to add another 7 students who were selected to be inducted into the society. All 7 students have demonstrated exceptional academic accomplishments and advocated for the physical therapy profession through their leadership, service, and research. As I call your name, please stand and remain standing. When I'm finished calling your names, if you can come to the stage and come up on the stage in the order that I called you, that would be great. Lane Brown. Kayla Durstein. Nicole Horvath. Aaron Lenahan. Catherine Pickerell. Joy Sandman. And Anna Ross Steckman. Congratulations to all of you. Come on up.
Okay, good afternoon. I am Dr. Michael Cebulka, and I have the honor to present the award for excellence in physical therapy. This award recognizes a graduating Doctor of Physical Therapy student for academic excellence, leadership skills on campus and in the community, and who has exhibited evidence of academic and intellectual maturity. Today, we're fortunate enough, though, we have 2 graduates who are going to receive this award. And we as the Maryville faculty believe that both of them fit this criteria so much very well. And they both deserve this prestigious award. The first graduate receiving this award today has excelled in leadership both inside and outside the classroom. While maintaining a 3.99 cumulative grade point average, this graduate has been involved in many activities, including such things as evidence-based practice co-chair, a class officer, co-coordinator of the National Physical Therapy Day of Service co-coordinator, a PT PALS mentor, a Maryville Reaches Out team coordinator, a Bascom's Honor graduate, an Alpha Eta Honor Society member, a Delta Epsilon Sigma Honor Society member, a United Way Service Grant recipient, keep going, an Alpha Lambda Delta Honor Society member, and on Maryville University's Dean list from the fall of 2016 to the spring of 2020. And last, a member of Mike Sapolka's class of advisees, whom I've had the privilege to know since as a freshman at Maryville. It is a great pleasure that the faculty presents the Award for Excellence in Physical Therapy to Dr. Catherine Pickerell. Catherine, please come forward. Okay, we got one more. Like a second graduate receiving this award today also has excelled in leadership, both inside and outside the classroom, while maintaining a perfect 4.0 cumulative grade point average. This graduate has been involved in many activities, including such things as peer tutor in many undergraduate classes, a co-president of the Maryville Physical Therapy Club, as well as a vice president. This person also served on the Inclusive MU Advocate Institute, as well as on the Community Service Club, serving as the president of this club for 2 years. The honors garnered here at MU include being selected as the Class of 2020 Commencement Student Speaker, receiving the Maryville Outstanding Community Volunteer Award, gathering 2 first-place finishes at Maryville University Student Research and Scholarship Day, being an inductee into the Alpha Eta Allied Health Honor Society, receiving the Academic Achievement Award by getting a 4.0 from 2016 to 2019, an inductee into the Alpha Lambda Delta Honor Society. This recipient was also selected to represent the APTA's Acute Care Academy at the Student Leadership Development Program. It is with great pleasure the faculty presents the Award for Excellence in Physical Therapy to Dr. Joy Sandman.
This is the last time you get to see this, by the way. Good afternoon, guys. My name is Dr. Jack Bennett, and I am honored and privileged to present the Physical Therapy Faculty Award. This award is presented to a graduating Doctor of Physical Therapy student or students who most exemplifies the characteristics and virtues of the physical therapy profession. This year, the faculty have supported awarding this to 2 extremely worthy students. I'm going to present the information to them together, so I want them to come up together, all right, so we can present it and honor them together. The characteristics of a professional physical therapist and the 7 outcomes of the physical therapy program are evident in these graduates who are receiving this award today. The many activities of involvement have led to their development as a physical therapist, including volunteering at many of the physical therapy club events, participating as a subject in research projects to advance physical therapy, and being peer tutors in both neuroanatomy and neurophysiology, as well as human anatomy. Their performance in the classroom and in the clinical settings have further exemplified the professional growth of these graduates who have grown and embodied the professional standards and passion of being a professional physical therapist while continuing to maintain a high level of professional behavior, communication, and respect for lifelong learning. Both of these students were exceptional student athletes, attaining academic all-conference honors within our athletic conference, with one of these students winning a $10,000 NCAA postgraduate scholarship. With great pleasure, the faculty presents the Physical Therapy Faculty Award to Dr. Alyssa Kelly and Dr. Aaron Linehan.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Pradeep Ghosh, the professor of physical therapy at this university. Let me first congratulate to all of you, and I'm really proud of your achievement. I feel deeply honored to be presenting this year's Dan Hartwig Award. This award is presented to an outstanding graduating Doctor of Physical Therapy student in memory of Dan Hartwig, the class of 2004. Dan was a very dedicated individual from day one, and I saw him as matured, and I saw him as respectful, as well as extremely hardworking. To narrate one of my fond memories of him, I remember him coming to the class every now and then with some bruises on the forehead, some black eyes, and I could not help asking him one day, Dan, what did you do to yourself? He said, Dr. Ghosh, don't worry. It came from my game yesterday. So he had a passion for sports. He always wanted to be a neurological specialist. And one day he came very excited to my office to tell me that he received appreciation from therapists and nurses where he worked, and that he recognized one client has some middle cerebral artery involvement because that client had a stroke. And he was then a third-year student, and he had just learned about the blood flow to the central nervous system. I told him, Dan, I'm proud of you, and I know you will be a very good therapist as well as educator. I frequently saw him in the cafeteria, university center, teaching his peers here and there just before the exam. And one afternoon during the summer break, I got the devastating news that Dan had died in a car accident, which left me shocked and numb. His memories will stay with me for as long as I live. The student receiving this award was chosen based upon characteristics Dan portrayed. These are academic success, exceptional leadership, peer teaching, humanitarianism. This 2022 award recipient has shown academic success in many areas, including being a member of the Alpha Eta Honor Society, high GPA, and several others. Clinical instructors have commented on the student's leadership and maturity, and is also displayed through being a tutor for kinesiology. Humanitarianism service has gone beyond the Maryville Reaches Out program and Lutheran Senior Service to include areas of volunteering at marathons and volunteer COVID tester at Maryville University during recent pandemic and return to the campus. Recipients' passion for the profession of physical therapy is truly reflective of Dan Hartwig. So ladies and gentlemen, please acknowledge this year's Dan Hartwig Award recipient, Dr. Lane Brown. Dr. Brown, please come to the stage and receive this award.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Charles Goulis, and I am honored to announce the awardee of the Dr. Charles J. Goulis Humanitarian Service Award. I am humbled to have this award created to honor my service, and I warmly thank the physical therapy faculty. Retirement does have some benefits. This award is presented to a graduating Doctor of Physical Therapy student who demonstrates the compassionate nature of the physical therapy profession by exhibiting humane service through meaningful volunteerism. This volunteerism can be within the physical therapy profession, the Maryville community, or our greater community. This year's recipient has been chosen for her sustained volunteerism in serving the needs of many in our community. Her service includes participation in providing exercises at the Multiple Sclerosis Bright Spots of Hope, pro bono physical therapy at the St. Patrick Center, an exercise class at Lutheran Senior Services, Special Olympics Fund Fitness, and for 6 years at the Delta Gamma Center for Visually Impaired Children in the Explorers Group and Run for Sight. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Kayla Durstein as the 2022 recipient of the Charles J. Gullis Humanitarian Service Award.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Sandy Ross, and I have the pleasure of recognizing the students for their research accomplishments. We had 8 groups of students who worked 2 years on faculty-led research projects. All 8 groups successfully defended their research in an oral poster presentation at Maryville University in April of this year. All groups had their abstracts accepted at the state level and presented posters to the Missouri Physical Therapy Association conference in Kansas City, Missouri. 5 groups are presenting their abstracts at the highly competitive National Physical Therapy Conference, 1 as an oral platform and 4 as posters. The research will be presented at the Combined Sections meeting of the American Physical Therapy Association in San Diego, California in February 2023. We would like to recognize you for your significant accomplishments. Graduates, please stand when I call your name and remain standing until your group has been announced. Presenting an oral platform to the Academy of Geriatric Physical Therapy titled Correlation Between Time Standing to Tall Kneeling to Standing with Fall Risk Outcome Measures in Older Adults, a Pilot Study, are the following authors: Dr. Olaide Aluwale Sangasini, Dr. Jill Heitzman, and the following graduates: Alyssa Kelly, Rachel Jackson Webster, Erin Reynolds, Ashley Dowden, hold on, and Courtney Manning. Please help me congratulate this accomplishment. Presenting a poster to the Acute Care Academy titled An Observational Study of Physical Function in Hospitalized Patients Immediately Following a Stem Cell Transplant are the following authors: Dr. Ann Fick, Dr. Heidi Timke, and graduates Joy Sandman, Catherine Pickerill, Hannah Jo Forbes, Jordan Grenert, and Trent McPherson. This abstract was also presented as an oral platform at the BJH Research Conference in St. Louis on October 19th of this year. Please help me congratulate them. Presenting a poster to the Academy of Pediatric Physical Therapy titled Determine Intra and Interrater Reliability and a Normative Value of Passive Trunk Rotation in Full-Term Healthy Infants, a Pilot Study, are the following authors: Dr. Rachel Rose, and graduates Kayla Durstein, Kelly Barnes, Carson Fonner, Kate Williams, and Emily Welcome. Presenting a poster to the Academy of Orthopedic Physical Therapy titled Trapezius and Deltoid Electromyographic Activity in Different Positions of Shoulder Abduction are the following authors: Dr. Michael Cibulka, and graduates Alex Bertman, Emily Bloomfelder, Nicole Horvath, and Macy Hoyer. And lastly, presenting a poster to the Academy of Cardiovascular and Pulmonary Physical Therapy titled Differences in Cardiovascular Responses During 3 Self-Paced 2-Minute Endurance Tests in Older Adults are the following authors: Dr. Conrad Diaz and graduates Abigail McPherson, Catherine Mason, Kelsey Dowling, and Lauren Smith. Please help me congratulate. All research posters will be on display in the DUC following the ceremony. Thank you all for representing Maryville University so well at the state and national level. You've faced the challenges of conducting research during a pandemic with great grace and excellence, and I'm incredibly proud of you. Thank you.
Graduates, if you look inside your diploma, you will see the physical therapy oath. The oath that you will be taking is one that you will live by every day. After this ceremony, frame this oath, place it in a place that you can see it regularly to remind you of the oath of the physical therapist. Please stand now and join me in reciting this oath. We will read it together. As I enter the profession of physical therapy, I hereby voluntarily affirm and solemnly pledge that I shall strive daily to be trustworthy and maintain integrity. I shall be a reflective practitioner who respects the rights and dignity of all patients and clients. I shall demonstrate professionalism as outlined in the American Physical Therapy Association's core values and guide to professional conduct. I shall be an educator who contributes to the body of knowledge in physical therapy. I shall be a learner who seeks to expand knowledge for both personal and professional growth. I shall recognize the expertise of other healthcare team members to facilitate optimal patient and client outcomes. I shall strive to engage and support the interest of the physical therapy program at Mary University as an alumni. I take this oath of commitment to do my best to fulfill my roles and responsibility as a physical therapist to maximize the needs of society. Congratulations. You may be seated. One of my favorite quotes comes from the Aerosmith band. Life is a journey, not a destination. While today marks a momentous occasion in the life of each one of you, and you should be proud of this achievement, this is only the beginning of your journey as a physical therapist. This journey will take you along many exciting paths. You are in transition from where you were as a student to where you want to be in the future. Forge forward with purpose, building your own bridge to the future. By focusing on improving the quality of life of everyone you encounter, you will transform society by optimizing movement to improve the human experience. Where have you heard that before? Each family member here has given of themselves for you to go forward. And while moving forward, you left a bit of yourself on your family and on your faculty members. Go forward on your journey. Enjoy the journey, but challenge yourself. Take some of those roads less traveled. You need to make your own mark on our profession and on society. Leave your legacy on your patients, your colleagues, and the profession. You are the future of our profession. We are very proud of each and every one of you, and we are very proud to call you our colleagues. Join me again in congratulating our 2022 class of Doctorate of Physical Therapists. We thank everyone for being in attendance today. We will be having a reception honoring our graduates over at the Donius Center immediately following this recessional. Please join your graduates there. Please remain seated until the platform party, the faculty, and the graduates have exited the auditorium. Thank you again for joining us on this momentous occasion.